Now, this is the part I love, is making sure that we have a family system, treating the family system. So I was just talking as though it's just one person, you and the teen. But then we got to think about, how can I help the family create safety, right? I hear this in Cool of Mind a lot, where people are like, my relationship with my son, my relationship with my daughter, I'm the only one who could help them. I'm usually running in and fixing them, right? And then there's other people. There's a dad, there's a brother, there's like all these other people in the mix that are worried and scared or angry, or, there's a whole thing going on. And that feels overwhelming for everyone involved. And maybe that's even the problem, right? That they're so fractured. So the principle I like to think about is, how can we get all on the same page with a plan together? And what do I do in that plan? What does the brother do in that plan? What does the father do? Like, what situation are we going to call emergency services, or how are we going to contact the clinician, right? It's like, you think about this as like a treatment team, a crisis management team. Everyone's involved. It could just be like, their best friend is around and they could just like play games until they're feeling better. Okay, that's that person's role. So developing a plan, being all on the same page if possible. I know that's not easy. And figuring out what role does everyone have. And if you are a caregiver, you're a parent, you are another loved one, I've been seeing this a lot more lately. It is traumatic to have your kid hurt themselves, have a history of hurting themselves, taking their own life. That's a trauma for you. Don't underestimate that. So you might be in fight or flight mode. You might run away. You might, try to pretend this is not happening. Oh, they're feeling better. Okay, I'm not going to talk about it. Right? Pretend, go back to normal. Or you might get angry. If you can, try to avoid acting on those impulses, right? Especially don't berate them or scold them or shame them. Like, how could you do this to me? Don't you know what this is doing to me? Yeah, all those just shaming and judgment. Like, if you do this, I will, if you hurt yourself, I will, take away the cart, right? Don't add. I know this is scary. So I know that a lot of what people say in these moments are just like in that heat of the moment and that fear. But if you can, don't shame them. You just say, thank you for telling me. I really appreciate it. This is really scary, but I'm here for you. Parents and other family members can really do a lot by staying physically nearby in high risk periods, or making sure that someone is around physically, right? And is able to restrict the means, make the environment safe, take away weapons, take away dangerous things, get them away from windows, and validating the pain, but not suicide and self-harm as the way to cope with that. As you don't have to validate that as a solution, right? This like parents have a really hard time, right? Because I would, I've heard this a lot, and I totally get it. They're like, I don't want to say it makes sense that you're feeling this terrible from your breakup, because what if what if the validation makes them feel justified in like feeling it, and then they go and do something about it? People worry that validating the emotion makes it more likely that they're going to act on that emotion in ways that are scary. But no, you don't have to say, I agree with everything you're doing, or agree with everything you're saying. Be like, I get that you're in pain. I see that this is so hurtful for you. Point blank. That's all you need to say, right? Understand the problem and say, I get it. And then following that safety plan.